This is the K95.3 Sports Show podcast, brought to you by the Fan Zone in Wilmer's Candy Mall.
Welcome to the K95.3 Sports Show podcast. My name is Beau. I am your host. Please, if you like what you hear, please hit the subscribe button. Also, if you're on your cell phone, hit the bell button next to that, and that'll give you a push notification every time I release a new episode. Also, please comment if you have any comments on what we talked about today, and please like the video. Also, thank you to the Fan Zone and the Candy Mall for sponsoring us. We appreciate them doing that. Also, I will announce that coming up on our February 20th episode, we will be doing a Twins preview. So we'll be previewing the Twins games, the Twins season coming up here, since they're going to be in spring training at that time, and they'll actually be starting their first game that Saturday, their first spring training game. So Twins season is right around the corner. So make sure to tune in February 20th for the preview for the Minnesota Twins. Let's get into my guest, not plural, guest. We got Jeremy Goulet came in here to talk to us about the Super Bowl, and we'll kind of go from there. Jeremy, how's it going?
Pretty good. Yourself?
Not too bad, I guess. You know, just sick of the snow and the cold, but
yeah, I'll agree with that.
Yeah, at least we get to talk Twins, so that's kind of a
little sunshine on the horizon.
Yes, exactly. Also, for the people listening, to see if you won the Brandon Zylstra autographed cap, I'll be announcing the winner here just before we talk about the commercials during the Super Bowl. So let's get on to the Super Bowl. Let's talk about all the excitement. Yep, that pretty much sums it up.
Yep, sums her up right there.
That was interesting. I did not. To say that we did not expect a 13-3 game, I think would be an understatement.
Oh, by far. No, that was really shocking. Well, I mean, the Rams obviously had a decent defense pretty much all year long, but man, where did this Patriots defense come from? I mean, the whole season, they weren't this good. I mean, just everything they did on Sunday, they just shut them down.
Yeah, the playoffs as a whole, what they did to the Chargers.
Yeah, true style. Yeah.
A little not as good with the Chiefs, especially in the fourth quarter. But for most of the game,
they held for the most. Yeah,
they held the Chiefs down low also. So, yeah, no, it was an interesting game. You know, so let's look at some of the Rams situation here. So, once again, the mysterious Gurley situation.
That was weird.
I mean, I don't think he wasn't on any injury reports.
No, I think I did hear them say they were being really hush-hush about it, but I think they thought there may have been a lingering hamstring or a quad issue. And, you know, McVay might have just decided to ride with the hot hand. Anderson, I mean, I know that that's a weird random play when you're in the biggest game ever, but
I mean, how would you feel if the Vikings made the Super Bowl in 2009. We didn't get beat by the Saints. We made the Super Bowl, and we get in there, and Adrian Peterson touches the ball barely double digits. I think he ended up with 10 total.
I wanted to say
10 total carries.
Oh, yeah, I would absolutely not.
Say if the best running back in the NFL back in 2009 touched the ball 10 times.
And
I mean, we had Brett Favre at quarterback, so
right.
we could probably do that. We didn't have a young Jared Goff.
Yeah.
But still, you have the best running back in the NFL, and you do not play him.
I would say, what did Gurley have on the season? 21 or 22 touchdowns? I mean,
yeah,
he was up. I mean, it was insane. He did very well. So, yeah, I don't know how to explain it. I don't really know why they were being hush-hush about it, if there was something, or if they thought that they were going to somehow be able to maybe use him as an adjustment in the second half to do, but it just never came to fruition. I don't know. He had that one really nice where it looked like he almost was like something was going to start going. I think he had like a 16-yard run or something like that, but it was called back for a holding.
Yep, 16-yard was almost.
So, you know, there was that little flash right there, and then it seemed like they went right back to Anderson. So
I don't get that. It's just to me, it's almost just it's similar to I'll compare that coaching decision to Peyton's decision passing it 2 out of 3 times.
Yeah.
When you just need to run the ball, overthinking things.
Yep.
You have the best running back in the NFL.
Yep. Yeah, like I said,
he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's dangerous in the open field. Why would you not go out of your way, especially when nothing else was working?
Yeah.
I mean, I could fine, first quarter and a half, switch it up, make them think, we're not going to use him like we did the week before. But once everything else wasn't working, why don't you be like, man, if only we had a person on our team that was the top at their position.
Well, and I think that might show some of the youngness in McVay too, because
outcoached.
And that's what I was going to say. I could see where they would think that maybe the Patriots were going to key in on Gurley, because obviously he is a big part of their offense, and they probably thought, maybe. But I will say that we did see earlier this season when the Rams played Chicago. Chicago shut Gurley down too. I don't think he broke 50 yards.
Chicago,
I know.
Chicago's defense in Chicago.
I'm just saying it can be done. I mean,
Yeah.
but I tend to lean more towards that there was something maybe injury wise, and we don't know either. Maybe Gurley was the one that was just like, hey, I'm not at full. You would like to think that in a player professional that way that he'd want to leave everything on the field, but. I don't know. It was a very weird deal, because it was funny in Facebook and stuff. They were showing, they had the missing posters of him on milk jugs and stuff, and it was really shocking. I would like to point out, though, I don't want to take anything away from C.J. Anderson. That was one of the most beautiful stiff arms I've ever seen in my life.
No, nothing against C.J. And I understand that if you want to,
but he's not a Gurley. I want
split it 50-50 at worst.
Yeah.
At worst,
because their passing game obviously was not, was not working.
Yeah, Goff 19 for 38.
Oof.
6-yard average. Yeah, I don't know if like I said, with McVay, like you said, I feel like he just overthought things, and that's what hurt them the most. But then again, you're going up against the Patriots, and to me, Belichick is the GOAT.
Oh yeah.
I don't personally like him.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan either, but he keeps building these teams, and a lot of people don't remember the fact that it's like, if Cleveland wouldn't have left Cleveland when they did, he had started the nucleus in that team that was starting to grow.
Yeah,
and then he left.
And
then that came. So he knows how to do something. Because honestly, I don't foresee how another team will ever have a run like he has. This is literally going on 2 decades.
Yep.
And then now, like I told you the other week, I had to Google it when they were talking about that the Patriots had 8 AFC championship games in a row. I'm like, what? That can't be right. I would have, and it's like, okay, that's 8 years. That's domination.
Yeah, it is, and it's, and that's what it comes down to. Brady with the Patriots, it was just he wasn't the best game either. 21 for 35, 262. But to be honest, all season I just saw him more of a dink and dunking throughout the entire season. He's not.
He didn't. We talked about this earlier in the season on the show, that his numbers were nowhere near what they have been in the past, which is he's going to fall off at some point. Everybody's going to have to.
Yeah, it's called
but
age.
When you have a team that strong around you, you just get it done however you have to.
And that's why when, like I said, I call Belichick the GOAT, and that's because to me Brady is not the GOAT to me. I feel because it's so much Belichick's system. I would argue that if you take any of the top 15 to 20 quarterbacks over the last 20 years and put them in that system, they're going to have just as many, if not more, Super Bowls.
Oh, I can believe that. Yeah.
And that's why, and even if you take a look at, I haven't put tons of research into this, but I'm trying to think of a name. But they always talk about, a coach's coaching tree. You know what I mean? He's been in it. He's been doing it now for so long. So people have left him and gone into other coaching. Can you name a coach that has been successful once they've left Belichick?
I can't do it off the top of my head, but they actually.
Maybe one,
right? But there was a the show that I had seen. I can't remember. I can't remember the program that I saw it on, but it had shown that coaching tree and all. I mean, there was just so many coaches that were under him that are all in different spots. But yes, I'm not positive of what their success levels have been. But I mean, and there's coaches that are all the way from like, still like doing quarterback coaches, that kind of stuff. And then there are some heads, and there are some that have went back to college. Some of them, I think it's the GM in Atlanta, I think, was under him in Cleveland at one time too. So I mean, it's just all these weird things. But I mean, all these different people had said though that this man taught us everything we know. So,
but then they can't. But
replicate. That's
it's in his head. That's where his talent is, and that's why I feel, because I mean, like even McDaniels, he left, sucked, came back. And all of a sudden now everybody's talking about him getting another coaching job. I was like, didn't you guys just see what happened the last time he attempted that? Yeah. Miami went hardcore after their defensive coordinator. He basically spent, 2 seasons as the defensive coordinator, because Patricia, who's the Lions coach.
Yeah, he went. I would say Patricia went to the Lions.
And he wasn't nothing special.
No, that wasn't.
There was that one offensive coordinator who coached in the NFL for maybe a year or two, and then he went to Notre Dame. Can't remember what his name was. Wise.
I think it might have been Wise. I think you're right. I think it was Wise. Yeah.
He didn't do much. There's nothing right home. So what I'm kind of getting at is it's Belichick.
Yeah.
And everybody else is there for the ride. And it's just brilliant. Just absolutely brilliant. Edelman had a great game. He did what 6-foot wide receivers do for.
Yeah, that was
guaranteed 6 catches.
It wasn't even fair. I mean, they could not cover him. I mean, and they kept talking about the double teaming and everything, and it was just like it. And I think that's a part of it too, that Edelman has just gotten so good at getting himself free that, and he is deceivingly quick. Oh, yeah. I mean. And he can cut on a dime. Some of that stuff you're watching, it's just like, how did he? All right, and obviously he's got good hands too. I mean, he definitely had a nice game. Also.
Yeah, no, it was interesting. Like I said, it just, a lot of people were calling it boring, and we made the joke that it was boring at the beginning, but I still enjoyed it. I thought it was a good back and forth. The defensive side, I don't mind defensive games. I'm not that type of person that I need to see final scores in the 30s to be like, oh, that was a great game. It brought, I'm sure a lot of the older listeners and watchers were kind of brought back to the early Super Bowls, the first 15 Super Bowls, and I don't know, I wasn't disappointed on that aspect.
I was actually just a little more surprised that with the way the defenses were playing, that they didn't actually score some points. Neither defense. That's the only other thing. Other than that, I mean, and honestly, the way that the ending kind of in the fourth started going, I thought that was where it was like, oh, okay, here we go. Now it's going to open up and just it's going to be a shootout. Yep.
And, I mean the Chiefs.
Chiefs
Pats game.
Yep. So I mean, I the way that one started out, I thought for sure, oh, here we go. Now this is going to be everybody's, try to do what you can do on defense, but let's just floor it and see what happens. And they kind of tried to do it, but then with the Goff got intercepted, on the deep there, and that was it. But
yeah, no, that was probably the key play right there.
Oh too. Yeah, that was
breaking that up in the end zone, and of course, I especially didn't mind the second half of the game because I won on a Super Bowl board twice for having 3-3. Yeah, I never would have thought my 3-3 would have been the actual numbers 3-3, not the last digit 3-3, would have been at all possible in the third quarter. But taking that and then the end of the game with the 13-3, I was like, sweet, in the money. But then they worried me. I couldn't believe. Greg Zerline,
I completely missed that either.
I mean, and we'll talk about that too. Just before Gostkowski went up for his first field goal that he missed, they made that. I don't know if you heard it. They made this. They said the stat: not one missed field goal in Atlanta Stadium all season.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
So wow.
So, and then 2 out of 5 missed this
in
game.
The Super Bowl. Wow.
And two of the, if you would ask me to name the top 5 kickers in the league, these 2 names would be in it.
Oh, absolutely. Gostkowski's been in England and been their staple forever. And I mean, Greg Zerlin. I mean, they call him Greg the Leg and Legatron.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of gives you a little hint of what kind of kicker he is. You know.
Yeah. So it was. So I mean, just even there, that shows what kind of a weird game the whole thing was. It just it's the end of the season, unfortunately. That's what sucks. Man.
This is going to be kind of weird. It's always that little, about a 3-4 week hangover of like nothing now.
You got 3 weeks. You got the combine, which I really don't follow, and if you ask me, is a big waste of time. I can't believe how the NFL has made it seem like that actually matters in the long run. How many push-ups you can do, and
that always seemed like the SATs to me.
Yeah.
It's like all you did is you proved you could do good on a test for one day.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't giving us any. I mean, obviously it gives you ideas of like, their work ethic and where they're at this point. But let's be honest. I mean, you're still on most of this stuff. You're gambling.
Yeah, exactly. And then they got free agency after that, and then the draft in April. So we'll still talk football throughout the year, throughout the spring, as we need to. But let's go ahead and actually, before we get to the commercials, I will announce the winner for the Zylstra autographed hat. Nicole Kaiser. Nicole Kaiser was the name I picked out of the people who picked the Patriots. So Nicole Kaiser, when you hear this, please email me at K953sportsshow@gmail.com. That's K953sportsshow@gmail.com. And so I can get your information for you, so I can get you that Zylstra hat. So please, Nicole Kaiser, email me at that address. Let's get into some of the ads. I thought one of my obviously we'll go ahead and talk about the NFL 100 one first, because that was a close second, and I know you said you liked that one. That was my favorite. I just thought that was really pretty cool, and it had a lot of players I liked it there. So my only question is where were the Viking players?
Yeah, that's true. There wasn't
no Randall, no Moss, no Carter. I mean, we've had good enough players that we should have had one person.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how they went about choosing that stuff. Yeah. I'm not sure though. Did you see that on Yahoo they were kind of making a big deal about that there was a huge glaring error in there. Apparently when Montana threw the ball to Rice and it was intercepted.
Yeah, by Dion.
Right, and they said like that ad is completely wrong. Montana's never thrown an interception on Super Bowl Sunday. Oh. In all four he's been in, his completion, he's had like 11 TDs and zero interceptions. So they were kind of making fun of that, and I was like, oh yeah. So, but that was probably my favorite. I enjoyed that, and I mean, me and Joe Green, Jim Brown. No, this is what you call a party. Stuff's flying.
Yeah, and then the ending with Franco.
The immaculate reception.
No, it was well done. It was well done. And so I thought that was good. But outside NFL commercials, a couple of them that stood out to me. I really enjoyed the Bud Light, the very first Bud Light. We talked prior. Neither one of us are Game of Thrones people,
right.
So I didn't get the whole Game of Thrones combine wine. You know what I mean? So it was nothing special to me.
Yeah.
And at the end, I'm like, if they wouldn't have said Game of Thrones on it, I would have been like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was kind of weird.
Yeah. But random.
Yeah. But the first one with them trying to deliver the corn syrup to Miller Lite, and then going to Coors Light, how they actually went into the mountains and just Coors. Just to be clear,
we brew
our beer with corn syrup. Yep. And I've seen people talk about. I've been looking at the reaction to that, and people are kind of like, okay, is that a big deal that they use corn syrup? And so I looked into it. Bud Light uses rice syrup, and or they get their sweetener from rice.
Right.
And so I kind of looked up what's the difference a little bit. Basically the difference is corn syrup is fructose, rice syrup is glucose.
Okay.
So it's a little different. The body can absorb glucose better than fructose. Mm. And so in a way it might be a little bit better
for you
than fructose. But of course, as social media is social media, there's, picture of picture of some guy, some farmer who has corn pouring Bud Light that he already bought down the down the sink. Yeah, that'll show him.
Yeah. No,
You're just wasting beer.
Now you just wasted beer and your money. All right,
Yeah.
good job.
So I mean, they might have stepped on a few toes there because obviously the corn lobbying group is probably pretty large in this country. So
and some of that stuff is. I knew that from when I was younger that they always called the Bud Light and the Budweiser it's rice beer. And it's a little different. So, but I've never known that there was that much of a difference. And sometimes that's what I wonder with this advertising stuff. Do they just finally sometimes run out of ideas of things to say? So let's just say just gonna. This is a fact. We don't really. It's not a good or bad. This is what we're gonna use because we're the ones who don't use it and everybody else does.
Yeah.
Come on.
So what I liked about as a person in marketing, what I liked about the Bud Light is that you don't see is I felt it was it was a nice brutal takedown. You're running right after they're going straight up against two of their top competitions and just throwing it in their face that they don't use the corn stuff. And I like the aggressive marketing.
Yep.
I like that kind of aggressive marketing. So let's go ahead and jump to a couple more. The T-Mobile ones, I thought the 4 T-Mobile ones were very good.
Yep.
The husband talking to the wife, asking what's for dinner, and keep deleting it.
Why do I have to decide what?
Yeah.
Well, why don't you go ahead and pick, Beau?
Yeah. Sushi. Exactly what he knew was going to happen. That was great. The dad one the confused dad thinking he was on Google, but he was messaging his daughter.
Yep.
That was good. What was the other?
The Lyft driver.
The Lyft driver out there.
The way that
all
by myself. It's like, dude, I'm here now.
Yeah.
I'm your Lyft driver.
Yeah.
Oh.
that one was good. And then the long message where you just say, "Hey, what's up?" And then you just get that one friend that just comments, 1,000-word manifesto.
Yeah. The text comes through and it actually shows an attachment. It's like, oh man.
Yeah.
Sorry, I asked.
So I liked that one too. One that I didn't see really much, but I saw it the next day. That Dietz Watson nuts.
You were showing me that one earlier.
That one was funny. I don't know how many people saw that, but they're meat. They're chunks of meat. They're essentially, like
almost have to be
your
like
beef stick.
or something.
Yeah, your beef stick, and then just cut into small pieces.
Yep.
Kind of like the Twizzler nibs.
Yep.
But that was pretty good. Dietz nuts are meat nuts. Dietz nuts are meat nuts.
Oh, you got a catchy jingle.
Yeah, obviously a play on D's nuts from Snoop Dogg back in the '90s, but that was brilliant too.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That's a good one. And let's see another one. I liked the Audi one where the guy was in heaven. And
choking on the
Yeah, he was choking on a cashew, and he was all getting in his Audi, and he was with his grandpa. And then the lady gives him the Heimlich and saves him.
See him jumping in the seat.
Yeah, that one was cute. That was a cute idea. And overall it was, like I said, the commercials were okay. The game was okay. The halftime show was okay. It was just an okay day.
Yeah.
Game.
And it was kind of funny though, because I was thinking about this. I know that I know I had talked to about Dan before, but it was all in a way. This Super Bowl was almost like the perfect bookend, because do you remember talking when the season started this year on a Thursday night, and it was Atlanta and somebody, I can't remember who it was, but it was just a sleeper of a game.
Yeah.
There's just nothing really happened. Nothing was spectacular, and I think it was a low score just like this. It was like maybe 21-13. So it just kind of like and it just, like I said, it was like that perfect. Started it slow, ended slow, and there we go. But a lot of great football in between.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, it was a fun season. It was definitely a fun season, and lots of stuff to look forward to next season. But I think what we'll do is we'll probably just wrap it up at there.
Okay.
I mean, just quick in and out. Once again, Nicole Kaiser, please email me K953sportshow@gmail.com so I can get you your Zylstra autographed hat. So thank you guys for listening. Next week we'll go deep diving into Wild a little bit more. One of my guests actually worked for the Iowa Wild, the minor league for the Wild for a while. So a little extra insights possibly. So thank you, Jeremy, for joining me.
No problem.
And thank you guys for listening. And we will see you next week.